What's going on, traders? Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. Let me know in the comments down below what pairs you're watching this week and where you think the markets are headed. We're going to break it down in this video, so stay tuned and hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about supply and demand trading. All right, looking at the US dollar. Last week they added 2,900 longs and they actually added 1,700 shorts. That's right as we contacted this daily area of supply, which is also a weekly area of supply as well. And if you watch my last week's video, I mentioned be very careful buying the US dollar in this area. I had no interest in buying the US dollar last week, and I'm actually in a Euro USD trade, which I will show you in the next clip. So stay tuned for that. And what I'm expecting to happen on the DXY is for price to come down here, hopefully, probably react, and then eventually break to the downside. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for on the US dollar. All right, looking at Euro USD, the past week they got rid of 15,000 longs and they actually added 8,000 shorts. So looking kind of bearish right now on the Euro USD. We are in this daily downtrend here. It broke this little flip zone here. No demand down here on the daily time frame. But if you've been watching my forecast for a while, go back and watch them. I talked about this weekly demand zone that I wanted to be looking for 4-hour momentum shifts in. And if you see my note right here, it says, oh, it's not on this time frame, my bad. But I've been talking about this weekly area of demand for a while, that I was interested in looking for a 4-hour momentum shift in that area, and that is exactly what I did. So basically, I saw the removal of this downward trend line, the removal of this supply zone and this supply zone. It kind of created a weird zone right here, this 4-hour zone, and then this one here. But this zone right here was tested by this wick, as you can see. So I was interested in this zone down here. I know it's not the best move away, and a lot of supply and demand traders would definitely disagree with me, but that's fine. I've done my testing. I've pretty experienced in the markets, so that's why I took this zone. I actually woke up when price was right about here, so I had to actually enter manually with a stop under this zone, and so far it's working out pretty good. I am expecting some trouble in this area, but you know, I like that zone. It was a nice zone, and my first take profit is probably going to be, you know, at this daily area of supply right here. And my ultimate target, what I'm going for, is going to be this weekly area of supply up here that has been tested. So, you know, somewhere up here in these areas up here is where I'm trying to look to get out possibly, and, you know, maybe bump my stop loss along the way here. And if you're interested, check out the Patreon here. I'm going to post it right here. You can get all my zones, trend lines, trend trackers, and all that stuff, and, you know, my trading plan and all that stuff. So you guys can catch these trades along with me, hopefully. So check that out. It's only $5 Canadian per month, and I have a tier 2 option as well that's a little more detailed, so check that out. All right, looking at the Aussie dollar, the past week they added 800 longs and they got rid of 1,200 shorts. Their long to short percentage is still pretty confusing. Not much to see there, but as you can see, we're reacting nicely off of this daily supply zone that I actually drew out in the last video, I believe. So looking for 1-hour momentum shifts off that area is not a bad idea. You kind of have something like this here. Let me extend this trend line actually. Something like that did break a zone and a trend line, so that's not a bad area. I'm not really interested in taking it. And the reason I'm not interested in taking it is because this weekly demand is in control. I don't like this weekly demand. It's tested, but it's in control, and the weekly demand is stronger than daily supply. So as far as the Aussie dollar goes, I'm not really interested in trading this at all right now. I want to see new highs on the daily time frame before going long, and before going short, I want to see these daily demand areas removed, which would also remove this weekly area of demand as well. So right now on the Aussie dollar, I am not really interested in trading this pair. I just see way better opportunities on different pairs. So, you know, stay tuned for all those different analyses on on those pairs as well. All right, looking at GBPUSD, the past week they got rid of 3,800 longs and they got rid of 1,600 shorts. Their long to short percentage still remains 69% long to 31% short on this pair. But as you can see, this trend line has been holding, but I am not interested in trading this pair right now. Huge reason for that is because we're reacting off of this weekly supply zone right here. There's a monthly zone above that I'm expecting price to go to, but I'm definitely not looking for long trades right now. You could have been looking for 4-hour momentum shifts off of that weekly supply zone. So you had a nice one right here. Actually, that would have been a nice 2-to-1 right here. It held up pretty nicely. I wasn't interested in going long in this area, even though it did work. But now that we are contacting that daily supply zone, looking for a 1-hour momentum shift to the downside is not a bad idea. I could see something like this happen because daily supply is in control, but as you can see, price almost came up and almost tested this area, so I'm no longer interested in shorting that 1-hour supply zone, even though I could see it work. So you could basically just wait for price to go to the downside like that, and then you can get in short down there. It all depends on what the US dollar is doing. But right now I'm kind of just I'm staying away. I want to see how this trend line plays out, and I want to see what this weekly supply zone does. All right, on to USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 15,000 longs, and they actually added 2,700 shorts. This is one of the pairs I'm interested in trading. We don't have a higher time frame supply on the daily or the weekly till way up here, so I'm still interested in getting in long the daily time frame. We could see price push back down to here, but I'm not really expecting that to happen. And basically, what I'm waiting for to happen, since the daily is on an uptrend, I'm waiting for this 4-hour demand to be, or supply to be removed. Maybe buy a nice 4-hour pullback to the upside with final take profits up here on the weekly time frame at the the 111 area, maybe a little bit before. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that 4-hour trend to continue to the upside. We could draw a nice trend line, and then I'd start to buy pullbacks in this pair. And basically, if this 4-hour supply gets removed, then obviously the 1-hour supply that's over here will also be removed. So buying 4-hour, 1-hour pullbacks is definitely okay in my opinion. I'm just waiting for that to happen. If this 4-hour supply holds, then I would have to see this 4-hour demand be removed, maybe this 4-hour demand be removed, and then I would start to look for shorts, basically all the way back to this daily area of supply. So your final take profit would have to be right here at the 106.958 area on the daily time frame. All right, looking at USDCAD, the banks added 2,900 longs and they got rid of 1,300 shorts. They still remain 56% short on the USDCAD, and as you can see, we now continued the daily downtrend by the removal of this daily zone. And like I mentioned earlier, join the Patreon if you want to follow my trends, trend lines, and all that stuff, so you would have an idea. I basically put the arrow here for the Patreon members to know that the daily time frame is in a downtrend. The only problem I see, I'm not interested in shorting right now, is because this daily demand is in control. This daily demand goes back quite a while. So you could look for 1-hour momentum shifts. I'm not really interested because if you look on the 1-hour right here, there's not really much to be removed till up here. So if we do see something like this, where both the supply zones and the trend line is removed, then I will be interested in going long the USDCAD. But as for now, I'm not interested in shorting either until this daily supply gets broken right here. So if this gets broken like that, then we can start to look for those 4-hour, 1-hour pullbacks to get a move to the downside on USDCAD. All right, USD Swiss, they got rid of 300 longs and they actually added 1,700 shorts, as we are reacting very nicely off of this daily supply zone that I've had drawn for quite a while for the Patreon members and myself. As you can see here, I have a plan. 4-hour shorts off weekly supply. Need trend line broken first. I drew this plan out a while ago, and I've had that note in there, and I've been waiting. And if you look on the weekly time frame right here, nice weekly supply zone right here. I've been talking about this weekly supply zone since I think last year maybe. I don't even know. But yeah, we were reacting very nice off the weekly supply zone. There was a trade that I took on the 4-hour. Based on that note, we had a demand zone removed, trend line removed. I shorted this pullback. Only made I took my first take profit around here. My second stop loss was right here, so I only made like a 0.5% return on this. Not the best. Definitely was hoping for a bigger move, but you know what? I'll take it. And a lot of supply and demand traders be like, "Oh, this isn't a great move away or whatever." But you know what? Based on the higher time frames, the weekly, daily demand supply were in control. So I shorted this pullback, and look at that beautiful move away. So that was a trade I took on USD Swiss last week. That's the only trade that I took, hoping for a bigger move. But this basically is a confirmation trade in that weekly area of supply. So you know, right now, since the weekly and daily are in control, I'm really only looking for short positions in this pair. So basically, for me to get in short again, I'm going to have to see this 4-hour demand be removed down here. And then, you know, we start to get those pullbacks to the downside. And then final take profits would be around this daily area of demand, which I do expect to break based on the fact that the weekly supply is in control and weekly supply is stronger than daily demand. So, you know, your final take profit would have to be here, but if you could start bumping your stop down, you could hopefully get a bigger move, you know, down to the 0.90 areas on the USD Swiss. All right, looking at gold, XAUUSD, they clearly have been getting rid of a lot of longs the past 3 weeks. In the last week, the banks got rid of 10,000 longs, and they actually added 3,000 shorts. So kind of seeing more downside here. I made a whole video on gold, so go check that out. It'll go in more detail. But basically, this weekly or this daily area of supply has been holding. The only way I'm going to be looking to go long is if something like that happens, where we get the removal of the trend line and the removal of that daily supply zone. Then I will definitely be looking for longs to the upside. As for now, you technically could have been looking for a 1-hour momentum shift in this area. Maybe you would have been stopped out right here looking at the 1 hour, because both these zones did not work, but they're kind of weird zones. Actually, you could probably draw, let me draw this out for the Patreon members right here. I would draw something like that, kind of getting to see me do this live, guys. So this is the amount of work I put in. Another supply zone up here. Not really. I probably wouldn't take that based on the fact that we are in monthly demand. But, you know, gold's been on a downtrend clearly in the daily. So I would be waiting for that to happen. But, you know, looking for shorts right now isn't a super bad idea. I'm just personally not really interested in shorting gold right now. All right, looking at oil, the call reports show they added 4,000 longs this week, and they actually added 5,000 longs last week. And this past week, they actually got rid of 14,000 shorts. So even more bullish on oil. We are reacting off this weekly area of supply. So, you know, I wasn't planning on going long right now, and we actually had a nice trade in oil right here. So the weekly supply was in control. I didn't take this trade. I'm very upset at myself for not taking it. I should have. We basically had the removal of one supply zone. I should have been shorting this pullback. Maybe it's a shoulda, coulda, woulda moment here, but that was a beautiful setup. Weekly supply was in control. Beautiful 4-hour supply zone right here. That was a shift to the downside. And look at that, almost no drawdown on this trade. But now I'm not really looking to short based on the fact that the 4-hour zones are tested. So right now I'm waiting for this weekly area to be removed like this. Then, you know, we'll have a daily uptrend still on a 4-hour uptrend, and I'll definitely be buying pullbacks on oil. As far as the daily goes, I'm gonna have to look back and see if there's any more zones back here. But, you know, as you can see in the daily time frame, it's pretty much all up from here. So if that weekly supply zone gets removed, it'll look something like this. And then, you know, pullbacks all day to the upside, in my opinion. I think oil is probably going to about $80 a barrel. That's just my opinion. And as the call reports show, they're very bullish on oil. So I think we're still going to see more upside potential here on oil. I'm kind of upset I missed out on that short. But you know what? There's plenty of opportunities. If we get those supply zones removed, there will be plenty of 4-hour pullbacks to be buying to the upside. All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching this week's Forex forecast. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well, if you don't mind. I really appreciate all the support. Let me know in the comments down below what pairs you're looking at this week. And maybe we can get in touch, and you can send me a chart and let me know what you're looking at. I always like looking at charts. So with that being said, let's have a great trading week and let's make some money. Cheers.